I never thought a simple playground could freeze my blood. And yet, every time I close my eyes, I still see her there, sitting on the slide, watching me as if she had been waiting all along. That night, I shouldn't have been walking alone. It was late, close to midnight, and the fog that had rolled in from the fields clung to the streets like a suffocating blanket. I cut through the old park as a shortcut. I'd done it countless times before, even when I was a kid. Back then, the swings would creak in the wind, and the slide would glow faintly under the weak light of a single street lamp. It always felt harmless. Safe, but not that night. The park was empty, but it didn't feel abandoned. It felt watched. My footsteps crunched softly on the gravel path, yet the sound seemed swallowed by the fog. Every breath I took echoed in my ears louder than it should have. That's when I noticed it, the faint metallic sound, like something dragging against rusted steel. I froze. My eyes moved slowly toward the playground. The swing chains hung perfectly still. The merry-go-round hadn't shifted. And then I saw it, the slide. The faint glow of the lamppost revealed a thin silhouette sitting at the very top. At first, I thought it was just a child, a little girl, maybe 6 or 7, her knees drawn up slightly, her hair tangled in wild strands. She didn't move. She just sat there, her face shadowed, her body impossibly still. I felt my stomach drop. What was a child doing out here at this hour? I wanted to call out, but my throat tightened. Something inside me screamed not to. I could only stand there, staring, my breath puffing white in the cold air. That's when she leaned forward, just a little, and her face slipped into the dim light. Her eyes glowed. Not reflected light, not a trick of the lamp, glowed. 2 white, unblinking orbs set in a pale, sunken face. And the mouth, it stretched into a grin so wide, so unnatural, that I felt bile rise in my throat. My body begged me to run, but my legs wouldn't move. Instead, I listened. The silence of the park had changed. The air felt heavier, pressing down against my chest, and underneath it, I heard something. A sound I couldn't place at first, a low scrape, like fingernails dragging across the metal of the slide. Then she shifted. Her thin, bony hands gripped the edges of the slide, her nails digging against the rust as she leaned toward me. The smile never moved, never faltered, but I swear I could hear the skin stretching, pulling. I told myself it wasn't real, that my mind was playing tricks. But when the wind picked up and her hair lifted just slightly, I smelled it, rot, the stench of damp earth and something long dead, clinging to her like a second skin. And that's when I knew I wasn't alone in the park anymore. I should have turned around. I should have left the park the second I saw her. But something about those eyes held me in place, like hooks dug deep into my chest. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. I just stood there, trembling, while the girl on the slide began to shift her body forward. It wasn't the way a child would move. It was slow, deliberate, as if every bone in her frame cracked and bent with each motion. She slid down halfway, her pale legs stretching onto the metal, her grin frozen in that impossible curve. And then she stopped. She didn't move again, but her head tilted slightly, like she was studying me. The silence pressed in around me until the only sound left was the frantic pounding of my heart. And then she spoke. Her voice wasn't a child's voice. It was layered, distorted, like dozens of whispers pushing out of a single throat. "Do you remember me?" Every hair on my body rose. The words weren't meant to be a question. They were a statement, a reminder. I wanted to answer, to deny it, to scream, but my jaw locked shut as if she'd stolen my voice. The light above us flickered, dimmed, and for a moment the world was swallowed by shadow. When it buzzed back on, she was gone from the slide. I spun around. The park was empty. Nothing on the swings, nothing by the benches, nothing. For a second, I thought I had imagined it all. My knees nearly gave out with relief, but then I heard it again. The scrape. Right behind me, I turned slowly, terrified of what I'd see. There she was, crouched at the bottom of the slide now, her long fingers splayed across the dirt, her nails black with rust and soil. Her grin was wider, her eyes brighter. She hadn't climbed down, she hadn't walked. She had simply appeared there, like the darkness itself had delivered her closer to me. I stumbled back, my breath breaking into shallow gasps. "Stay away," I managed to whisper, though my voice cracked like dry wood. She tilted her head again, jerking it sharply to one side, as if her neck had snapped. Then she began to crawl. The sound was unbearable, her nails dragging furrows in the earth, her knees cracking with each shuffle forward. And all the while, that smile never left her face. I turned and ran. My shoes slammed against the gravel, each step echoing louder than the last. But no matter how fast I went, I could hear her. Not footsteps, no, something worse. A scraping that never faded, always just a breath behind me. I reached the edge of the park and dared to glance back. She was standing at the slide again, the same position, the same frozen grin, as if she had never moved. My lungs burned, my chest heaved, but I couldn't look away. I knew then what kind of nightmare I had stumbled into. She wasn't chasing me. She didn't have to. Because no matter where I went, no matter how far I ran, she would always be there, waiting at the slide. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw her. That twisted smile, those pale, glowing eyes, the scrape of her nails dragging across metal and earth. By morning, I convinced myself it had been a hallucination, a trick of the fog, exhaustion, something rational. But when I went to wash my face, I saw dirt under my fingernails that wasn't mine. And on the mirror, barely visible until the steam from the hot water revealed it, were words scrawled in uneven lines. "Do you remember me?" My blood ran cold. I hadn't been dreaming. For days, I tried to ignore it. I avoided the park. I stopped walking at night, but she followed me. I'd catch glimpses of her in reflections, shop windows, puddles, even in the dark glass of my TV when it was off. Always the same, her thin frame perched at the top of a slide that wasn't there, watching me, smiling. The worst part was the smell. It followed me everywhere now. That damp, rotting stench of soil and decay, curling into my clothes, clinging to my skin. People at work began to notice. They asked if I was okay, if something had died in my apartment. I laughed it off, but inside I was unraveling. One night, I woke to the sound of metal creaking. My bedroom was dark, but the noise was unmistakable, the sound of something heavy shifting on a rusted slide. My heart stopped. Slowly, I turned my head toward the corner of the room. She was there, sitting atop a slide that shouldn't exist, its shadowy frame pressing into the walls and ceiling of my room like it had grown out of the floorboards. Her eyes pierced the dark, unblinking, as she leaned forward. The scrape began again, her nails clawing along the slide as she lowered herself inch by inch toward me. I couldn't scream. I couldn't move. I could only watch as her face drew closer, that grin stretching impossibly wide, tearing the skin of her cheeks until black veins spread across her face like cracks in porcelain. And then she whispered, her breath cold against my ear, "You left me." My memories came flooding back. The park, years ago. I was just a kid, playing on that same slide with a little girl I didn't know. She had wanted to go again, but I ran home when the streetlights came on, leaving her behind in the dark. The next morning, they said a girl had gone missing. They never found her body. Now she had found me. The mattress groaned as her weight pressed down beside me. I felt her hand, ice cold and damp, resting against my chest. My heart hammered against it, desperate to break free. I don't remember what happened after that. I only remember waking up outside, in the fog, standing before the old playground again. The swing chains swayed though there was no wind. The slide loomed in the mist. And she was there, waiting, smiling, calling me back. I know I shouldn't go near. I know I should run. But some part of me understands the truth now. You can't outrun what waits for you at the slide. And if you ever find yourself in that park alone, at night, you'll see her too, because she's still waiting.
Subscribe to Horror Story Bar.